In today's episode of Bill and Frank's Guilt-Free Pleasures, we'll be talking about Air Supply's celebrity doppelgangers, their ability to take a puerile lyric and turn it into pop purity.
And we also tackle our basic knowledge of American football. So enjoy Bill and Frank's Guilt-Free Pleasures. So today's song is an exhausting one. And I'm already going into this completely exhausted. I listened to Making Love Out of Nothing at All 12 times in a row yesterday. And it just really took it right out of me.
I remember the last time we did a Jim Steinman song was Celine Dion's It's All Coming Back to Me Now. And I remember we talked about trying to do this, and I said, I have nothing left in the tank. Jim Steinman just exhausts me. So I'm glad that you took the brunt of it by listening to all those versions yesterday.
I was also up until about, 1 o'clock in the morning yesterday, and I haven't done that in such a long time. So maybe that's also taking it out of me. It's an Air Supply song, but as much as it's an Air Supply song, it's a Jim Steinman song.
That's right. I was just going to take a look quickly at the personnel to see if Graham Russell even played anything on it. Because we have Russell Hitchcock, who does the vocals.
Yeah.
But Graham Russell, which always kind of confused me. They're the same name. So I feel like it's a great trivia question waiting to be made if I could come up with it. But Graham Russell plays guitar, but he's the songwriter for Air Supply. Except in this case, they brought in a special hitman, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like a hitmaker. But I'm going to call him a hitman.
A hitman. Well, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page here, and it says Russell Hitchcock lead vocals, Graham Russell backing vocals. So he doesn't actually play any of the instruments on this song.
Yeah, so this is definitely a Jim Steinman production. He brings in his usuals, who are Roy Bittan on piano. You have Max Weinberg on drums, so we have our East Street representing. We have, is it Rory Dodd on backing vocals there in front of you?
Yeah, Rory Dodd on backing vocals.
He's the usual guy who sings the demo as well.
Yeah.
And then you have special guitar slaying beast, Derringer.
Yeah, Rick Derringer.
One of our rare moments where we can discuss how Hulk Hogan is involved somehow in this because Rick Derringer wrote I'm a Real American.
Oh, seriously?
And then Jim Steinman wrote the Hulk Hogan theme. Do you remember? Hulk, do-do-do.
No, I don't remember that.
You're going to remember it in a moment.
This is where we spin off into our wrestling podcast here. Yeah, this is Steinman. This is classic Steinman. This is great.
There will be the episode we do on wrestling themes, I'm sure. Which
I'm sure, yeah.
Destroy the podcast.
Yeah, well.
It's coming. But I digress.
Yes.
We have Rick Derringer there, and then I don't know all who are on those backing vocals, but they are a special group who I'm sure we have heard throughout Steinman's career.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure. Well, it's Eric Troyer and Holly Sherwood on backing vocals, along with Rory Dodd.
Right.
But we talked a lot about Jim Steinman on two of our previous episodes with Celine Dion, It's All Coming Back to Me Now, and with Meatloaf, I Would Do Anything for Love, but I won't do that. You've heard a lot of Jim Steinman, assuming that you've listened to a couple more of our episodes than just this one. So we want to talk a little bit about Air Supply.
Yeah, they met at a production of Jesus Christ Superstar in Australia.
They were touring around, and they started a band with another singer, with someone else in the production, Chrissy Hammond, who played Mary Magdalene in the production. So they started a band. Then Chrissy Hammond left to start her own band with her sister, Lindsay Hammond. So then Russell Hitchcock and Graham Russell, who were in the chorus of the production, at the end of their run through, and I think it was like 18 months that they were touring through Australia and New Zealand, they decided to start a band together. And they had kind of a revolving cast of backing musicians through the history of Air Supply. And I'm reading here that they picked the name Air Supply because it's opposite of heavy metal.
Oh, really?
At least that's what Artist Facts is telling me, that it was a direct contrast to heavy metal because the sound is nothing but a contrast to heavy metal.
Fascinatingly, AC/DC comes out of Australia, so Air Supply kind of came to counter that balance.
Yeah, it's a yin and yang kind of a thing, right?
Yeah. So, but unlike AC/DC, who's never done a ballad, these balladeers finally rock it out with Jim Steinman.
Yeah, well, and this is, again, a quintessential power ballad song.
And it is their last major hit, right? They've had I think they have about 8 top 10 hits in the US between 1980 and 83 or something like that.
Yeah, they did quite well. I mean, they're Lost in Love, All Out of Love, a lot of love songs. Making Love Out of Nothing at All. Oh, what else was there?
Even the nights are better.
Yes.
There's so many great songs to do for Air Supply, and they have a certain feel to them. And the thing with this song is it's really outside of the Air Supply pocket. And so this is what kind of makes it special. It also makes it kind of sinister somehow to me.
Yeah, it's really big and bombastic, this song. And for a band that does nothing but power ballads, it's very... You're right. It's outside of their wheelhouse, but oh my goodness, did they absolutely kill this song. Consummate professionals.
And can you guess how many takes it took to nail this? How many times did Hitchcock have to sing this? Now, thinking about the fact that for Pandora's Box, that poor singer had to do about 75 takes.
Yes.
It's all coming back to me now. What do you think happened on this one?
I'm going to say one take.
You got it. One take.
One take.
So Steinman's there with Air Supply and Hitchcock nails it one take. And Jim Steinman says to them, oh, well, what do we do now? Because it was so good.
Yeah.
And then they said, we go home. So Steinman, I feel, wasn't able to wield his vampiric magic on them and destroy their lives like he's done to so many others.
Yeah.
That they just walked away empowered.
And what's great about this song and like the production around it and the videos and everything, because there are 2 videos and we're going to talk about both of them. There's this mythology that surrounds Steinman's music, and it's all very ethereal, like there's sexy ghosts and sexy vampires and all of that other sort of stuff. But Air Supply is like, no, it's all about the music. It's all about the story for us. There's none of this sort of fantasy world that sort of prolificates all the other big songs by Steinman.
Yeah.
Well, even Total Eclipse of the Heart, I haven't actually seen the video for that, but I'm assuming there's something all fancy about it.
Oh, yeah. So I found this article online, but it was like an article that was PDF'd, or they took a picture of it.
Oh, so like a scan, yeah.
Yeah, so you can't really look it up well. So I found it, read through it, and I struggled to find it again. It was through one of those Wikipedia links to a link to a link.
Okay,
you go through the references. And it had a list of things that Steinman had to say about the people he worked with.
Oh, okay.
And they were just like ridiculous things. Someone was saying in the 90s, thinking they would not be published on something called the internet forever. What he says about Air Supply is not as bad as what he had to say about Bonnie Tyler or Barbra Streisand. But he said, I'm paraphrasing, they're the most boring people I've ever met, and that's what makes them so fascinating.
Jim Steinman. I know we said we weren't going to talk about Jim Steinman, but it's hard not to. The man was just, he kind of transcended himself.
Yeah. But he's a character that's forever 14, but also partially vampire.
Yeah.
And just
never...
never...
vampires, when they, if he was 14 when he was bitten, then he's 14 forever.
That could explain it.
Yeah.
So like you said, it really is a Jim Steinman production.
Yeah.
You have just Air Supply guys doing vocals. The one doing the vocal of his lifetime.
Yes.
And then Graham Russell doing the vocals, so he's included
Yep.
in this. But he's bringing in all his people. It sounds like all the other songs. Sounds a lot like Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Yeah.
And the Meatloaf stuff.
Yes.
And Celine Dion and everything else he's done. So
The Hulk Hogan theme.
And the Hulk Hogan theme.
Yeah. So, and we talked about this. This was Air Supply's biggest song.
Well, it went to number 2 for 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
it could have been the biggest, but they did have a song that did go to number 1.
Oh, did they? Oh, okay.
Which was
the one that you love.
the one
Says
that
number
yeah,
1.
Yeah. So but I think this one somehow I think this one may have sold more copies somehow, I think.
So do you know what song kept it out of the number 1 spot?
Yeah. Total Eclipse of the Heart.
So Jim Steinman goes 1 and 2
For 3 weeks.
for 3 weeks.
Number 1 and 2. So they
Massive.
own the charts.
Yeah. So you can only imagine what that did for the man's ego.
Oh man. And as they were heading down the charts after their dominance, a Barry Manilow cover of a Meatloaf song written by Jim Steinman was moving its way
seriously?
up. Oh yeah. So he was in full control.
Oh my
Imperial mode, as they say. So this is full Steinman at his peak powers.
Yeah. So Air Supply, Russell Hitchcock and Graham Russell, they form in 75. Graham Russell is English and moved to Australia. They meet on the production of Jesus Christ Superstar. So they had a string of hits in Australia. You said, what was it, 5 hits from 79 to 83, something like that?
Yeah.
But they were kind of just still struggling as artists. The one article I read said that when they were on tour, they would check the couch cushions of the hotels that they were at to see if there was change there so they could buy bread to make toast.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Starving artists.
Man, I hope they had Marmite.
Oh, that stuff's gross. Have you had it?
No, it's Australia. They love Marmite.
Oh, I tried when I was there. It's just there are certain things I couldn't do.
Okay. Well, apologies to our Australian listeners. Frank, I think Marmite is fine.
You can think that.
Okay. All right. So this song is featured on their Greatest Hits album.
Yeah, it's not
right?
even on one of their proper albums.
Yeah, so this is just kind of like, it's fittingly, this is the end of their big run.
Mm-hmm.
They have a Greatest Hits album, and then this is included on it. I'm almost certain that I had this record.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm 5, so my parents had the record.
Yeah.
But I remember my uncle coming over with the stereo system and playing the best of Air Supply or Air Supply's Greatest Hits to show how great the sound was.
Actually, I think you gave me a copy of the CD of Air Supply's Greatest Hits for my birthday. I think it was like my 26th birthday or something like that. Yeah. But the song is actually reworking the main title theme for a small movie from 1980 called A Circle of Friends, which Jim Steinman wrote the score for.
That's right. And out of that score comes both Total Eclipse of the Heart, I think. But Total Eclipse of the Heart has been jumping around in his head for his whole entire life.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely in that theme, you can hear this song in there.
Mm-hmm.
How much of the movie did you watch?
I watched none of it. Did you watch any of it?
Too much of it.
Oh,
it's just one of those things again where I'm like, I'm going to watch this. And the thing that I'm realizing is that I love the music of the 70s and 80s. It's particularly the adult contemporary music.
Oh, okay.
Like, just love it.
Yeah.
But to watch a 2-hour movie is just a bridge too far. So, no one watched the movie.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell. It wasn't really that interesting. And so he changes this into this bombastic, over the top.
Fantastic power ballad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, 83, it's on their greatest hits. And like you said, their last sort of big hit. And they have been around, and they still tour around and still record and stuff like that. But this was kind of the end of their heyday.
Yeah, this was it. And the radio has really never played them again.
Mm-hmm.
So they mentioned that too in their interviews.
Yeah. But they were really, really big in Asia. Like through through the late 80s and through the 90s, they were massive in Asia. They played a concert, or they're supposed to play 2 days of a concert in Cuba, I think it was. And there was a hurricane that came through, so the second concert was canceled, obviously. But they were talking about, like, there were hundreds of thousands of people at these concerts. Like, just massive, huge, like, hordes of people.
Those are our people, Frank.
I think so. Do we need to move to Cuba?
I think we need to do a tour anyways.
So if you have a couch that we can sleep on, we're going to go on tour, and maybe, we can record our podcast in your kitchen or something like that. So reach out to us.
Yeah. All right, let's jump into this song. Sound good? Well, it begins with that piano.
Yes. And this is a little bit different from, like, I think all Jim Steinman songs kind of start the same way. Like, it's a little bit reserved, but this is even more reserved at the start. Just that simple piano, and then the lyrics by Russell Hitchcock.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it just eases you in.
Yeah. I know just how to whisper, and I know just how to cry. I know just where to find the answers, and I know just how to lie. I know just how to fake it. I know just how to scheme. I know just when to face the truth, and then I know just when to dream.
I know just how to whisper, and I know just how to cry. I know just where to find the answers, and I know just how to lie. I know just how to fake it, and I know just how to scheme. I know just when to face the truth, and then I know just when to dream.
Now, these lyrics are, at least in my version here, I have verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, but in the song, they don't take a breath.
No.
Right? Like, just keep going. Keep going.
Keep going. But the first verse it's about deception in a relationship.
Yeah.
The song is often rated as one of the most romantic songs, but the first verse is all about, like, deceiving. Just like, I know how to fake this. I know what to do to make it seem like I love you. Like, it just doesn't seem romantic to me. I don't get it.
This is typical where people say, oh, it's so romantic. Sort of like when you go to a concert at a church and someone says, they're going to play Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. Like, the same sort of deal. It's like, does anyone listen to these lyrics?
Yeah.
So, we've mentioned that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely this one has that Steinman feel too, where it's like, doesn't feel like true love in the sense of the sort of open-hearted, gentle, innocent songs that we like so much.
Yeah, and Jim Steinman, like, how do I say this? His songs are just lusty.
Yeah, that's the word to use. And I think what's so exhausting for me, because you and I are such innocent, graceful, gentle people.
Oh, absolutely.
That we get exhausted sort of dealing with this type of content.
Yeah. I don't understand it 100%.
Yeah. But I have a reading of this song that somehow I feel works within our world.
Yeah.
The guilt-free world that we live in. Because his songs don't feel guilt-free. They feel so kind of guilty.
I know, right?
So here's my take on this whole thing. Well, I'll keep coming back to it.
Mm-hmm.
The narrator of the song is like an illusionist. So he says about all the things he knows how to do.
Okay.
He can make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
But she can make love out of nothing.
Okay.
And so he's got illusions, but she has magic. Even as he brags about all the things he can do, and all the things he can do to her, I guess we want to say with the lusty parts, is he doesn't know what to do with her. He says he can't leave her, but then he talks about crawling to her, and then he talks about how she does these things, and nothing has meaning unless he gives her things, and she has this power.
Yeah.
And so there's this sort of like redeeming power here that she has. She's not being used. He doesn't know what to do with something like this, which is my kind of reading on it, what I want it to be.
Yeah.
You tell me, am I right? You listened to this 12 times yesterday.
I think I've become blind to the lyrics here. I don't know. It's tough to say. Like that's an interesting take on it. Definitely. Yeah. There's one take on it. It said it's a song of redemption. It's like he's bitter and jaded because he's never had feelings for anyone, and yet somehow he can't explain he has feelings for her, and she didn't do anything to make it happen.
Yeah.
That was one take. I don't necessarily get it, but yeah, that was a take. But like the surface reading of that first verse is just like, no, this is a guy who's just faking everything.
Right.
He's not real.
And it goes on from there where he says, I know just where to touch you. And this is where it's the master lover, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right. And I know just what to prove. I know when to pull you closer. I know when to let you loose. I know the night is fading. I know the time is going to fly. And I'm never going to tell you everything I got to tell you, but I know I got to give it a try.
I like that you did that in one breath.
Yeah. And that's the moment where there's a shift, right? Because suddenly he's not in control. And then I think that works with how many words jump out there, where suddenly this narrator feels a bit shakier.
Yeah.
And what's he trying to tell her? I thought he's the ultimate wooer, and now he's got everything he needs to say to her, which feels like the moment where I kind of go with that reading. I also looked at a really terrible website. I'm not going to name it, but it's one of those websites that acts as though it's like a major thing, and they realize, oh wait, this is some dude's blog. And it was just like, it was a reading where I'm like, no, and it's like, oh, she's making love to nothing at all because there's nothing there. I'm like, oh, ye of little faith.
Yeah.
And I know just where to touch you, and I know just what to prove. I know when to pull you closer, and I know when to let you loose. And I know the night is fading, and I know the time's gonna fly. And I'm never gonna tell you everything I gotta tell you, but I know I gotta give it a try.
And we've spoken about this before, and I counted there are 4 times in this song where the lyric is said so quickly, and so like forcefully and everything. Like in a Jim Steinman song, there's at least one part where you have to do like a big breath and just get it all out, and that's
number one.
The first one was, I'm never, like I said, you did it all in the one breath. I'm never gonna. And I'm never going to tell you everything I got to tell you, but you know I got to give it a try. Like, just smash it all out in one big breath, just get it done. And there's 3 other times in this song that I count that would kind of qualify as that Steinman-esque lyric.
What makes it so special, and I've been thinking about this for about a year because we've been talking about this for a long, long time, is that it's an Air Supply song, and the power is in Hitchcock's vocal there.
Yeah.
And there's all these other versions. We've heard of it. We'll talk later about them. But what he does with his voice, his range, and just the heights he can bring his voice, and the desperation he can bring out of it, it all works perfectly.
Yeah.
So they can say it's Jim Steinman, but it wouldn't be what it is without Hitchcock.
Without Hitchcock's voice. Full disclosure, I tried to sing this at karaoke last night, and I'm just like, I love this song. I know, like, I was singing along with it when I was listening to it like 12 times, and I got to that part and everything just completely fell off the rails, because at the beginning it's just like, I know just how to whisper, and you can like, it's simple enough to sing, but once that really, those difficult lyrics come in and he just jumps up an octave and just like he plows through those lyrics and everything, and it completely fell off the rails. It's like trying to rap Ice Ice Baby. It's like, I know that song, I can sing it, I can do it, but then you can't, because, well, turns out I'm not a good rapper.
Did the crowd help you out?
No, it was just like a karaoke room with friends.
Where were you?
I was at a teppanyaki table in Niagara Falls. We with the big grill and the fire and the show and everything like that.
Okay.
And there was a karaoke room, and they said, like, yeah, you guys can use it for free if you want. And we butchered a lot of songs. It was, and I particularly butchered this really, really badly. I think my music career might be on hold.
Well, I'm hoping that you get another opportunity to do this, because when we hit our 100th episode, I want to do a celebration party. And I'm
Oh,
thinking
yes.
we do a full karaoke day at the Winchester backyard, springtime.
Of only songs that we've covered.
Yeah, we bring in all our friends and anyone who wants to be here.
Yep.
And then when the cops shut us down, just like that U2 video or the Beatles movie, we'll be famous.
Yeah.
First three. And I know the roads to riches, and I know the ways to fame. I know all the rules, and then I know how to break them, and I always know the name of the game.
And that's number two.
Number two.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to leave you, and I'll never let you fall. And this is it. This is the moment, right, where we finally get where the song is going. And I don't know how you do it, making love out of nothing at all.
And I know the roads to riches, and I know the ways to fame. I know all the rules, and then I know how to break them, and I always know the name of the game. But I don't know how to leave you, and I'll never let you fall. And I don't know how you do it, making love out of nothing at all.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
No, neither do I.
But I think it's definitely about sex. I think
Is
he
it
may
about
be-
sex, or is it about, again, my surface reading of this is, maybe she sees through like his sort of falsehoods, but she still loves him.
Okay, that's good. Now, just because it's Jim Steinman, he can't write Making Love without thinking.
Oh yeah,
about-
absolutely.
right.
Yeah, Jim
But-
Steinman meant sex.
But at the same time, I think you're right in that in one of those rare moments where he doesn't go, I don't want to use the word dirty because it makes us sound puritanical. And you and I aren't Puritans.
No. I mean, we're Quakers, but we're not Puritans.
Totally. That's right. We just start the podcast in dead silence for an hour until someone's ready to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. But there is something sweet about it, which feels very different from almost all the other Steinman songs.
Yeah, and again, it's the way Hitchcock sings it too, right? Because
It's the air supply.
Yeah.
They supply it.
They supply air. They breathe air into this song, and they make it live, and they make it theirs. But you have all this sort of Steinman-esque bombacity in the verse, and this is another like oddity. Usually, it's the chorus that really brings everything out, but the verses are so dramatic. The chorus is like it's just out of nothing at all, making love out of nothing at all, and just repeating out of nothing at all. Like there's not a whole lot to the chorus necessarily, but it's also the way Hitchcock comes off that bombastic verse, and it's like, and I don't know how you do it, and he like brings it back down.
Yeah, and it helps to have that chorus of voices.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And it just softens everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you do it, making love out of nothing at all. 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 Out of nothing at all.
And then we come back, and it's back to the sort of breathless lines. I think this must be it. I mean, you have them counted.
Yeah.
But it helps to have lyrics for this part because this is where it's like you got to keep up, and it is something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because, again, they take that sort of soft chorus and they come again with this, like, bombastic verse.
Every time I see you, all the rays of the sun are all streaming through the waves in your hair. And every star in the sky is taking aim at your eyes like a spotlight. The beating of my heart is a drum, and it's lost, and it's looking for a rhythm like you. You can take the darkness from the pit of the night and turn it into a beacon burning endlessly bright. I've got to follow it, 'cause everything I know, well, it's nothing till I give it to you. Like, that is one long sentence.
Yeah.
And that's a sort of sentence where, to me as a teacher, you'd be kind of wanting to write down a note to a kid, but at the same time, there's something so pure about this. Like, this is the ultimate letter from a teenager
Yeah.
to the teenager's like object of affection. It
Yeah.
really is object. And they're just saying these such pure-hearted words outside of any frame of, reference in terms of like, oh, you don't say that. Oh, that's cliche. It's just,
there's no cynicism in
man.
it's all, like you said, it's pure.
and this is why it works so well for Air Supply, because they're not cynical.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bonnie Tyler, when she sings it, we'll talk about that later, but it's a different feel.
Yeah.
And she's, she has her thing, the raspy voice and stuff gives this sort of weight of, I don't know if the word is danger, but something more earthy.
Yeah.
But with Hitchcock and Russell, they're Air Supply.
Yeah.
They're your parents' music. They're the music you and I like, but we would never tell anyone. We would talk about Phil Collins or Michael Bolton before we would ever talk about Air Supply.
Air Supply, yeah. And like watching the video and doing the research and everything, it's like these guys had to make it on the merit of their musical talent and their ability to sing and everything, because they just look like average guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's no, I guess, what's his name? Graham Russell is like, he's 6'5", so I guess there's that about him and everything, but just like, they just look like two uncles on a stage.
Every time I see you on the rays of the sun, I'm streaming through the waves in your head. And every star in the sky is taking aim at your eyes like a spotlight. The beating of my heart is a drum and it's lost and it's looking for a rhythm like you. You can take the darkness from the pit of the night and turn it to a beacon burning endlessly bright. I gotta follow it 'cause everything I know, well, it's nothing till I give it to you.
I love this verse. And just looking at it, I don't even know how to talk about stars in the sky taking aim at your eyes like a spotlight. Like every single star. So it's like, if you try to get that visual, it's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And then the beating of his heart is a drum and it's lost. So he's not only is his beating his heart is drumming, but it's lost and it's looking for a rhythm like her. I'm like, oh man, it's just, I love the dedication to the metaphor, but also how it's just kind of loosely there. Where it's like,
It
no,
doesn't really make sense.
you can take the darkness from the pit of the night and turn it to a beacon burning endlessly bright. And that goes to the making love or to nothing. It's like you take the darkness, turning to light.
Yeah.
I've got to follow it because everything I know, well, is nothing till I give it to you. And there's also this like, give it to you isn't some sort of dirty phrase, but I've got to follow it. Everything I know. So it's the idea that everything that he knows and understands, he wants to give it over to her. So he is under her, I don't want to say spell because it makes her into some sort of
like some
wizardress.
sort of, like sexy witch or something.
Exactly. But for all that he can do, he doesn't have it for her, right? Like for every single thing that he's able to control, he can't with her. And there is something about that to me that is both the sort of innocence of first love, true love, but it's true about love, is that when you're in it, it is something beyond your own skill set to deal with. It just feels special.
Tell me more about love, Bill.
It's a lot of stumbling.
Well, which brings us into our next lyric.
Well, it brings us into Derringer's killer guitar
Oh yeah,
riff.
because in the middle of the middle of this sort of string of verses, there's like a musical bridge, and just this ripping guitar solo.
Unlike anything in the Air Supply catalog, because Rick Derringer is not Air Supply.
No.
He's a real American.
Yeah.
He fights for the right of every man. It is something else. I find it amazing. I tried to quickly go through interviews with Air Supply, and they just don't talk about this song.
Oh no?
But they play the song every night.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to say, I guess, because they nail it in a take, walk off, and let
Yeah.
Jim Steinman do the rest,
Yeah.
right?
And Jim Steinman, I can only picture him like they walk off after one take, and he's just like, well, but but I have the studio booked all day. Nope. I'm gonna get some Marmite and put it on toast.
All right, verse 5, I believe, is yours for the taking.
Yeah, so and this is so fantastic. I can make the runner stumble. I can make the final block. I can make every tackle at the sound of the whistle. I can make all the stadiums rock. There's so much to talk about in just those 4 lines. First of all, I'm assuming that Jim Steinman wrote this about football.
For sure, because he loves cheerleaders, he loves football. He's all about sort of the Americana.
Does he love football?
I think he loves the idea of loving the idea of football.
Because like I can make the runner stumble, so I'm guessing it's like someone with the football, so like a receiver or running back or something like that. But it's sports lyrics written by someone who doesn't understand what the sport is, sung by an Englishman and Australian. So I guess, Aussie rules football or rugby or something like that, but it doesn't make sense in the context of these lyrics.
Especially with that, I can make every tackle at the sound of the whistle. It's like, well, listen, if the whistle goes, that's the end of the play.
Yeah, the tackle usually precedes the whistle.
Yeah, because if you're tackling at the whistle, I think that goes to flag.
Well, it depends. Like we don't understand sports so good.
I know. I was just going to say to you, did it sound like I understood what I was talking about?
A little bit, yeah. Did we write these lyrics?
Side note, I'm amazed that American football is like the top sport in the United States.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really get it because I don't get it.
Yeah.
I really don't get it.
Yeah. But the best part about this is there's these sort of vague football references. I'm assuming this is football. And then it's, I can make all the stadiums rock. And then at the end of rock, there's Derringer on the guitar, just with this like searing guitar riff that comes in.
Yeah.
And
So
it's
this
just
is-
like stadium rock. Here we go. This
Halftime show.
Oh yeah. This is, again, Steinman.
Yeah.
Pure Steinman.
Yeah. I can make tonight forever, or I can make it disappear by the dawn. And I can make you every promise that has ever been made, and I can make all your demons be gone. There it is.
Yeah,
Is that number 4?
That's number 4.
And that's the thing where, he's the world's most incredible lover, so he claims.
Yeah.
And that he's also an exorcist somehow.
Yeah.
So, but then it goes to apparently verse 6, according to thegenius.com. To us, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to make it without you. Do you really want to see me crawl? And that's the sort of thing where I think Bono's Mysterious Ways kind of hints at some of this too, where you're just trying to get there. I'm never going to make it like you do, making love out of nothing at all. And that's that moment where he admits he has nothing to bring to the table.
Yeah.
For all his braggadociousness, there's nothing there. And that is the end of the song in terms of verses. That's the end of it. And so I think there is an argument to be made that there's all this, I have all these skills, but I have nothing when it comes to you.
Yeah. So is she the one making love out of nothing at all?
She makes
Yeah.
love out of nothing at all.
Yeah.
Or as we say in the theological world, ex nihilo, the creation out of nothing.
Out of nothing at all. So the verses are over. Again, those like bombastic, like fantastic, over the top verses. And they finish off with a chorus. And it's just making love out of nothing at all. And it's just repeating that over and over. And it goes on for a number of repeats.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of fading. And you think, okay, this is the natural end to this song. Then halfway through all of this, that's when Russell Hitchcock, like it's fading. It's out of nothing at all. Out of nothing at all. And then it's just like, out of nothing at all. And just like, he just ramps it right back up to 11. It's so good.
It's so good, and it just comes right back up.
Yeah.
And then the Steinman choir comes on with him, and he goes and goes. And to his credit, he nails his vocal. Imagine pulling this off in one take.
That's crazy to me.
And that just tells you how great he is as a vocalist. It is insane. To the credit of Air Supply, they've been friends for, well, I guess 45 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're also like together. They're not like Hall & Oates, who describe themselves as divorced parents trying to look after their kids, which are their songs.
Yeah.
They like each other.
Yeah.
And so Graham Russell is the songwriter. Russell Hitchcock is the singer, and they just understand each other this way.
Yep.
And they give Russell Hitchcock the spotlight here.
Yeah.
Just like all those stars going on to Russell Hitchcock. And he kills it.
Yeah.
It's a walk-off home run.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane.
I mean, he made the final block, according to the lyrics. So,
Or the tackle as the whistle goes.
Or he made a runner stumble.
Or a steel chair to the back of the head when the ref wasn't looking. So, did you listen to the other versions? There's only one real major other version.
I listened to the Bonnie Tyler version, yeah.
And there's extra lyrics.
Yeah.
But it's so exhausting
Yeah.
that I feel like this is not a fair comparison.
No.
Forgive me. But Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah has like 42 verses or something. And so I feel like Jim Steinman's like, oh, look, there's another verse. Like, of course he's got another verse. And I'm sure it's about something to do with like inhibitions, which it is. And it's like, okay, Jim. All right, Jim. And so the Bonnie Tyler version's good. It has that whole choir and thunder sounds, and it just feels even more Steinman than this. And it's all right, but the Air Supply is so definitive.
Yes.
That there's a reason why most people don't even bother touching it. Because originally this was presented to Meatloaf.
Yeah, yeah.
And his record company couldn't make...
Yeah, the record company was anti-Steinman at the time.
Right. And so this would have been a Meatloaf song. I think it would have been huge.
Yes.
But Hitchcock does something I don't think Meatloaf could do. And I hesitate to say it, but there's something here about the purity of this band and this song lifts the song up out of the Steinman sort of mire.
Well, and it's kind of a juxtaposition. Well, okay, I shouldn't say that because Celine Dion there's a purity about Celine Dion. And I think she probably did something similar with It's All Coming Back to Me Now. But it's that juxtaposition. There's the over-the-top bombasticness of Steinman, which is fantastic and great and dramatic and all that. But then there's, like I said, just these two weird uncles on a stage singing this song. And it doesn't fit, but they do something so great with it.
Yeah, yeah. And so there are versions out there, but this is the version.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your favorite part? What's your favorite part?
Oh, geez. It's easily in the verses, it's those moments where you have to take that big breath to get those lyrics out.
Yeah, we got that. And I feel the same. I think verse 4 in particular.
Yeah.
With the streams and the stars and all that. Yeah. And then Derringer's electric guitar rip.
Well, and then there's the electric guitar rip after the sports lyrics, which, again, just... They don't fit. They don't make sense, but they make so much sense.
Speaking of making sense and not making sense, we have 2 videos to go with this.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you watched the second video. Yeah. For some reason, they didn't like the original, but let's talk about the second video first and then go to the original. So, second video is the story of a Marine, I think. I call everyone a Marine, but I guess they're a war vet.
Yeah.
Not a Marine because he didn't wear the suit.
Yeah, no, I think it was just someone coming home from war or
Right.
coming out of the army or whatever.
Right. And then they meet each other, man and woman. They
Well,
have a life.
And this is they meet each other on the streets. She's carrying some bags of groceries and she drops them, and he's just kind of standing there watching for like 30 seconds. It's just like, man, just to help, like, we know you're gonna help pick up the groceries. Just start doing it earlier. Like, why are you just sitting there watching? Like, help out. That's my big problem with the video.
Oh man, my big problem with the video is he seems like kind of a deadbeat dad because he's mad at her because she's got a later on because they get married, they have a kid, and he's complaining during dinner,
Yeah,
throwing things.
yeah,
But then I think they make up at the end.
yeah. So it's that they fall in love. There's sort of rough patches, but ultimately it's redemption at the end, and they make love out of nothing at all.
I hate that video. I hate it because the first one's so much better.
Yeah.
It's
But-
so ridiculous.
But the one thing that I noticed in the second video was there's interspersed. There's shots of Air Supply on stage, like Graham Russell and Russell Hitchcock on stage performing this song. But in the background, you can see these backlit drummers. So you can't see the drummers, their faces or who's there. And there's like mist and everything coming from behind them. But there's two of them, and they are just going for it. Every single time there's the drummer in the shot, their arms are just flailing about. And it's just like, because there are very, very heavy drums in this song.
Max Weinberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just like this, like two drummers, and they're both just getting after it. It was fantastic. That's the best part of the video.
But the first original video.
Yeah. Great acting.
Wow. So, Graham Russell takes the shot at being the leading man here. So he's with his woman. And
His best girl.
And he says, for some reason, they're fighting about his job because he's got to go for one more tour. And she's like, I'm not going to be here when you come back, sort of deal.
Yeah.
And he's all upset about it. And he leaves to go with Air Supply on their tour while she stays back. And then immediately
He immediately sleeps with another woman.
he sleeps with him. There's a woman sitting beside him, and he stares at this picture. But the picture is of him making love to his other girlfriend, which is like one of the worst pictures you could have up, I think, when you're with somebody else.
Yeah.
But also, did you bring a photographer in for that?
Yeah.
Did you?
And did you bring that framed picture on tour and put it up on the nightstand while you're sleeping with this other woman?
It's incredible. So he goes back to that, and then he's having these sort of memories of her while he's on the plane, and everyone else in Air Supply is having a great old time.
Yeah.
It's just, I just can't stop laughing thinking about how ridiculous the video is. And then his girlfriend, or maybe ex-girlfriend, I don't know what that is because they kind of broke up at the airport. She turns around and decides to come back to him.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is just kind of concert footage, and she's getting back to him. And then finally she sees him on the side of stage
Yeah.
and says, I love you, but mouths it. But in such a way that everyone can
Understand that she was, because it was, again, fantastic acting in this video.
Oh yeah.
Because it's Graham Russell's real life wife.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Which one? The one who he cheated with, or the
No. The one that he left that comes back.
Oh, good. I hope they're still together.
Nothing at all. Out of nothing at all. Out of nothing at all. Out of nothing at all.
To me, that video is just so purely of its time.
Oh
too.
yeah, because they end up dancing together at the end, and it's misty, and it's a laser light that's sort of shining around. That was just, oh, this is so fantastic.
And this is a song that highlights Hitchcock. And
Yeah.
really, it's Russell the video is all about, even though it's like, hey, listen,
Yeah.
we could have had anyone else here. It's
Yeah.
really just Hitchcock's vocals.
Yeah.
But he's just there looking kind of goofy. And hey, even at one point, he grabs his shoulder to say, want to join us for a sing along?
Yeah.
While you're looking really sad looking out the window.
Oh.
Oh, what a video.
Yeah.
It'll be in the show notes.
Yes.
Categories?
Yes. I have a new one. Sorry,
Oh,
I have one.
I'm excited.
Very, very specific for this. And again, and I don't want to like belabor the point of just like they're just two average guys.
Yeah.
What sitcom duo perfectly resembles these two? Which 80s sitcom duo
Okay.
perfectly
I got a
resembles
couple.
them? Okay.
Can I go with Larry and Balky?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Because Hitchcock looks like Larry Appleton.
He does. Yes.
And well, I mean, just because Belky Bartokomous was taller and bigger and know, I guess objectively more attractive than Larry Appleton, that would be Graham Russell.
Right.
I was watching. It's just like, is this Perfect Strangers?
Oh my goodness. So this would be Marianne
Yes.
breaking up with Balky Bartokomous.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good call. And I dug deep within myself to find Perfect Strangers waiting.
Oh, I know. Like we're the same person, I think, Bill.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. That was a good category. Well, the Hallmark movie is the first video, the original video. So, I mean, it's a Hallmark After Dark for sure.
Yeah.
With
Well, anytime you're using the term making love.
Yeah. No, we don't make that.
Yeah. It makes me feel weird just saying that. Am I grown up yet or no?
We'll never grow up.
No. Okay.
Okay. Michael Bolton. We talk about this a lot. I don't want Michael Bolton touched in this song.
No, neither do I.
No.
As much as I love Michael Bolton, I think this is better left
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've I established last night that this song is almost impossible to sing at karaoke.
Okay. You didn't say representable, but you said impossible.
No, I said representable.
Oh my gosh. Now you just said impossible.
Oh, I didn't, did I?
Impossible.
Yeah, impossible.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes. This needs support for karaoke.
Yes.
Hitchcock can't do this without Russell.
Yeah.
Even though Hitchcock's first name is Russell.
Yeah.
But he needs Russell.
Yes.
Graham Russell.
So
when you do this at our party for the 100th episode, spectacular, I'll be there.
Okay, fantastic.
Not singing. I'll just be there.
Just there for support. Yeah.
Okay. This feels like a weird wedding song.
Yeah.
So definitely this isn't a wedding song between a couple, but even like it could be end of the night where everyone's gone and the DJ's like, wow, whatever. I'll just put this song on.
Yeah. And again, people have called this one of the most romantic songs in like song history.
Well, there's a episode of The Bachelor, like at the end of The Bachelor where two of them are together and they had Air Supply come on and sing this.
Oh, really?
Like, does anyone know this?
Yeah.
Did they get Leonard Cohen to sing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was odd. They still do this in concert really well. Like Hitchcock's had to change his range and stuff.
Yeah.
But a good friend of mine, Sarah Johnson from LA, posted a video of her at a concert just getting the verse 4 of this.
Oh, okay.
And she's just yelling. Not yelling, but she's just like, yeah, saying yeah. And he just keeps going and going.
That's fantastic.
So they're still moving. They're still doing their thing.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
We need to see them if they come to Niagara.
Mixtape time.
Yeah.
All right. You go first.
Okay. So mine's no real theme, more of a... If I was putting this on a mixtape, these are the other songs that are going to be there. Kind of like, well, definitely ballads.
Okay.
Don't Dream It's Over, Crowded House.
Good song.
More Than Words by Extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Keep On Loving You by REO Speedwagon. Right Here Waiting, Richard Marx. You're the Inspiration by Chicago. And then we finish it off with Open Arms by Journey.
We're great. And these are all open-hearted songs,
Yes.
right? Which is rare for Steinman, who has, there's this, both this like 14-year-old obsessiveness, but this open-heartedness is different for him.
Yeah.
And you nailed it with your songs. Now on to my songs. My songs are going to deal with magic. Because she makes love out of nothing at all, which he sees her, I guess, as some sort of creative force, as in the creator. So here are mine. You Can Do Magic by America. Believe It or Not, from the Greatest American Hero. It's like, kind of alters the whole feel of it, but
Just a bit.
yeah. She's a Mystery to Me by Roy Orbison. Disappear by In Excess. Like disappearing.
Yeah.
Baby, What a Big Surprise.
Oh, yes.
Chicago, they love their magic shows.
Yeah.
And Nothing from Nothing, Billy Preston.
Oh, okay.
So, could
Nice.
because nothing comes from nothing, making love out of nothing, all together. Here's a magic show. Pull a rabbit out of a hat, but instead, it's Jim Steinman out of a hat, and that hat is Air Supply.
I'd pay for that show. So that was Air Supply's Making Love Out of Nothing at All. And I know we talked and said we weren't going to speak about Jim Steinman, but it's so difficult not to speak about Jim Steinman on this song because he just infiltrates and has his hands all over the lyrics and the music and everything that the song is all about. And it's really tough on our podcast to say everything that we need to say, you know, make it work. And I'm never going to tell you everything I got to tell you, but you know I'm going to give it a try.
And you know what? Whether you got some darkness from the pit of the night, remember the songs that we are choosing and the songs that we all love are those beacons burning endlessly bright. Thank you so much for listening to Bill and Frank's Guilt-Free Pleasures.